Good morning everyone. Today I am going to discuss the topic interrupt. Interrupt means it is a signal or a condition to stop the current execution, save its state, to do the service, the signal और condition. Interrupt means that अगर हम कोई भी काम कर रहे हैं और उसके बीच में कोई भी interrupt का मतलब क्या होता है? बीच में रुक जाना. अगर कोई भी काम कर रहे हैं उसके बीच में कोई ऐसी कंडीशन और ऐसी स्टेट आ जाती है जिससे हमें अपना सिग्नल और कंडीशन को स्टॉप करना पड़े और फर्स्ट उसको सर्व करना पड़े, दैट इज कॉल्ड इंटरप्ट. For example, when the CPU is performing some task, for example CPU is performing some task and suddenly interrupt is occurring between the CPU, then it will hold its condition and then first execute its interrupt, and after the execution of the interrupt it will return back to the CPU and then CPU will do its normal routine work, that is called interrupt. CPU, and the main thing is that CPU cannot transfer unless the peripherals are ready. For example, if the data is transferred between the CPU and the peripheral devices, so when the peripheral devices are ready to receive the result from the CPU, then it is only the condition to activate the CPU. So data is transferred initiated by itself. CPU cannot start the transfer unless the peripherals are ready. जब तक हमारे peripherals devices ready नहीं हो जाते, CPU कोई भी अगर कमांड इशू करता है और ये रिसीव करने के लिए रेडी नहीं होते, तब तक CPU की कंडीशन होल्ड पे रहेगी. And when peripherals sends a interrupt signal to the CPU that we are free to receive the information, then CPU can send the result or the data to the peripheral devices. The main thing noted that the CPU cannot start the transferring unless the peripherals are ready. जब तक peripherals ready नहीं हो जाते, CPU इसको data send नहीं कर सकता. Then when the peripherals are ready, when this is activate, then CPU will communicate the transfer to the peripheral devices. So the main job of the interrupt is to identify the source of the interrupt. Main job of the interrupt is to identify the source of the interrupt. Source of the interrupt means that the origin of the interrupt. There is sometime there is a possibility that various services simultaneously occur to the interrupt. For example, if CPU is doing some work and various conditions activate simultaneously for the communication, then what the CPU will think first? It will service और execute first which have the highest priority. Means अगर CPU के पास कई सारी services और task simultaneously आ जाते हैं, तो CPU क्या डिसाइड करेगा कि किसको वो एग्जीक्यूट करेगा फर्स्ट? ऑब्वियसली द CPU will decide to choose the condition or the state which have the highest priority. For example, magnetic disk and the keyboard. Where magnetic disk have a highest priority and the keyboard have a lowest priority. So definitely CPU will choose first the highest priority because the magnetic disk contains the highest priority, and after it will execute the magnetic disk, then it will choose the keyboard because keyboard has a lowest priority. And if the two peripherals are communicating in CPU at the same time, the CPU take first the highest priority and leaves the lowest priority. So it is also called the priority interrupt. So this will clear is what is a priority interrupt. Next is the types of interrupt. There are two types of interrupt. First one is a hardware interrupt and second one is a software interrupt. What is hardware interrupt? When the signal comes to the external devices or the external hardware is called as a हार्डवेयर इंटरप्ट. मतलब कि कोई भी जब सिग्नल हमारा एक्सटर्नल डिवाइसेस और एक्सटर्नल हार्डवेयर के थ्रू आ जाता है, उस चीज़ को हम क्या बोलते हैं? हार्डवेयर इंटरप्ट. दैट इज कॉल्ड, फॉर एग्जांपल, व्हेन वी आर प्रेसिंग अ की इन अ कीबोर्ड आर द एग्जांपल ऑफ द हार्डवेयर इंटरप्ट. ठीक ठीक है. And the hardware interrupt are further divided into two types: maskable hardware interrupt and non-maskable hardware interrupt. Where the maskable hardware interrupt is that which is delayed. Which is delayed means if it has a highest priority, then if, for example, if the CPU is doing any highest priority and their highest priority, and then the maskable interrupt has to be wait, and after the highest priority request is over, then it will take the maskable signal. Maskable is also determined with its name. Maskable means, it means that कि अगर हमारा टास्क कोई भी हाईएस्ट प्रायोरिटी वाला कंडीशन पहले ही रन कर रहा है, तो उसमें अगर मास्केबल इंटरप्ट आ जाता है तो वो रुकेगा नहीं, वो पहले हाईएस्ट प्रायोरिटी की कंडीशन को रन करेगा एंड आफ्टर दैट वो मास्केबल इंटरप्ट को एंटरटेन करेगा. दैट इज कॉल्ड द मास्केबल इंटरप्ट. सो दैट इट इज डिलेड. इट इज डिलेड बिकॉज इफ द हाईएस्ट प्रायोरिटी इज देयर, देन इट विल एग्जीक्यूट फर्स्ट द हाईएस्ट प्रायोरिटी, बिकॉज ये अपना नॉर्मल वर्क ही पहले काम खत्म करेगा. अगर उस इंटरप्ट की प्रायोरिटी ज्यादा है, जो इसके पास पहले ही कंडीशन है, अगर उसकी प्रायोरिटी ज्यादा है तो वो इंटरप्ट को बिल्कुल भी इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं देगा. वेयर एज अ नॉन मास्केबल इंटरप्ट, इट इज अ सेकेंड टाइप ऑफ ए हार्डवेयर इंटरप्ट. इट कैन नॉट बी डिलेड. वेयर इट इज डिलेड, ये डिले नहीं होता. इट शुड बी प्रोसेस फर्स्ट इमीडिएटली. चाहे ये कोई भी स्टेट और कंडीशन ऐसी रन कर रहा है जो कि हाईएस्ट है, तब भी ये अपने उस प्रोसेस को इमीडिएटली रिज्यूम करके द नॉन मास्केबल इंटरप्ट को एंटरटेन करेगा. सो वॉट एवर द इंस्ट्रक्शन इज डूइंग, इट शुड बी स्टॉप्ड इमीडिएटली टू डू द फर्स्ट इंटरप्ट. नॉन सॉफ्टवेयर इंटरप्ट्स डील विद द internal signals in the computer system. So software interrupts are further categorized into two parts: normal interrupt and exception interrupt. The interrupt caused by the software instruction are called the normal interrupt, and the exceptional interrupt are those interrupt which are unplanned. Interrupt means that before you never think interrupt occur, suddenly it will come. The interrupt which occur exceptionally is called the exceptional interrupt. For example, any number which is divided by 0 is the example of the exceptional interrupt. So this topic, hope you understand this topic, which contains the interrupts and priority interrupt, as well as the software and the hardware interrupt. Thank you.